Welcome back to Simbright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this class, I'll be teaching you how to make this circle beautiful gown. As you can see right there, this circle gown, flayed gown, as you can see right here, has a facing and a keyhole. Okay, you can see the center front is open, and we have a little keyhole on the neckline with the buttons as well. Okay, so I'll be teaching you the tips and tricks to sewing this facing appropriately and cutting this circle dress appropriately as well. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I will encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial to learn how to cut this trendy, beautiful keyhole flayed gown, which you can use as casual. As you can see, you can wear your jeans, your trousers, you can wear anything inside to rock it. So stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. So this flayed gown, I'll be using my Dolphin satin fabric for the combination, as you can see right there on the thumbnail. So this is actually a full circle gown. Okay, so I have 6 yards of Ankara here. I'm going to divide it into 3 yards for one part and the other. Then we are going to cut out the front and the back on one piece of it. So I will share my Ankara now. Ankara comes at 6 yards, but I'm going to share it 3 yards equally. Okay, so I'm going to share 3 yards of it equal. Now I've shared the 6 yards into 3 equal yards. So I'll just separate them now, and I'll be using one for the back and the other for the front. So the one that I'm using for the back, I will go ahead and put them together. So I'm going to put it together this way, and then once I put it together, you'll see what I have here now to the end is 1 1/2. Note that everything was 3 yards and 6 yards. We divided it into 2. We have 3 yards, so 3 yards. So I'll be using these 3 yards to cut out the back piece of this. So you can see I folded that 3 yards on fold. So this is the folded edge of my 3 yards. So this part that is on fold is going to serve as the center back. Okay, this is the center back, and this is going to be the sleeve area for the center back. So the first thing we are going to do is to impute our neck depth. So my neck depth, I'm using 2 inches for my back neck depth, and I'll be using 4 inches for my back neck width. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm going to connect my back neckline. So I'll just go ahead and connect it from there to here, or I can just do this. Okay, if my ruler is not giving me actually what I want, I can just go ahead and connect it. So once I've done that, the next I will do is to place my tape back on the center back, the folded part, and measure my neckline. So my neckline is 8 inches. My shoulder line is 16 divided by 2 is 8. I will mark. So on that line of 8 inches, I'm going to take the measurement of my biceps. So my biceps here, I'm using 9 inches for the largest part of my arm. Okay, so once I've done that, then I'm going to measure the sleeve opening. So the sleeve opening, I'm going to use 8 inches for my sleeve opening. So this part of the sleeve opening, I'm going to make notches on them. That is where I'm going to pass my sleeve, my hand. Okay, so if you look at what we have on the video and on the thumbnail, it's actually wide, but I'll be using 8 inches for it. So you can also make use of 10 inches at this point. So but let me just go by 8 inches for now. So if there is need to increase it, I'll also increase it. So you just go ahead and make notches on that 8 inches. So once you have done that, we are done with the back neckline. Okay, with the back dress now. So the next thing we are going to do is to measure the length of the flay. So for the length of the flay, I'm going to place my tape at the tip of this point, because we are cutting out exactly 180 degrees for front and 180 degrees for back. This is a full circle gown. So here I place my tape and I'm going to measure everything I have here. I'm using everything I have here on my Ankara. Okay, no, I'll be using what I have here because this folded part is the Ankara length. Can you see that? So this folded part from here is the length of Ankara. So Ankara comes at 45 inches. Okay, so here I have 46. So I'm going to use 46 to cut out the length of my flay. So I'll just keep placing it this way to cut out the length of my flay. I'll mark 46. Of course, you know how we go about our flay cutting. So you keep placing your tape right here and moving your tape to measure your Ankara. So from here, I place my tape once again. I'll keep like that till I get my full circle. So I'll keep measuring till I get my full circle. So once I get my full 46 circle, I'll go ahead and do what? And cut it out. So I'll cut it out and I'm sure I have the flay. So I think I've gotten the flay right now. So I'll still place it right here and measure the 46 to complete the measurement. So here is the 46. So I'll just go this way and cut. So that is going to serve as the length of the dress right now. So I'll just cut out the length of the dress from here. Alright, so now I'm going to cut out the circle. Okay, since I've determined and I've gotten my circle, so you have to make sure that your round circle is at the same length. So I'm trying to cross check what I have from that point to be sure I have that 46 at this edge. Okay, so here I have my marking correctly. So I'll just go ahead and do what? And cut out what I have here. I'm going to cut it out. So I'm just trying to position, make sure everything is equal before I proceed to the cutting. So the Ankara length at 46 is going to serve as the length of this circle. So make sure you take that measurement very, very appropriately. Alright, so I've gotten the circle. So the next I'll do is to come over to the neckline. The neckline is 2 by 4 for the back. Can you see? And you place your notch at the sleeve opening. Okay, so that's how we go about this part of it. So for the front, we are going to cut out the front now. So the front piece right here, I'll be taking the neck depth at 4 inches. Then I'll take the neck width at 4 inches too. Okay, so we'll have everything connected at 4 inches. That is the neck line. So the next thing we'll do is to place our tape at the center front. This part will serve as the center front as well. And I'll measure my shoulder measurement, 8 inches. From that shoulder measurement, I'm going to measure my bicep at 9 inches. From the bicep, I'm going to measure the sleeve opening at 6 inches. So I will make the notches. So I'll just go ahead and make my notches accordingly for my sleeve. So don't forget to make this notch, because when we are sewing, we'll stop at the notch, jump this part for the sleeve, and go ahead. So like I said, we can even open this sleeve a little more, because what I have here is that as the sleeve opening on the thumbnail is actually big. So after sewing, I'll check if this 8 inches is okay. I might increase it to 10 inches. That is if I want. So now I'll come over to the neckline. So if you look at the neckline, you see there's a little keyhole on it. So I just make that keyhole on it. So this keyhole measurement, so this small keyhole, just very small, okay, I'm going to make from the neckline of 4 inches, I'm going to come down by another 4 inches, okay. So just a very little keyhole. I just want to make a little adjustment on the neck depth, okay. So I'll just make my neck depth at 3.5, okay. So from that point, I'll just measure 3.5 and still connect it to the 4 inches. So that means I'm reducing the depth of my neckline, okay. So I'll just have it at that and reconnect the keyhole, just a little keyhole. So that means from that point I went up, my keyhole will finally stop here, okay, 4 inches from the actual neckline. So that is how I'm going to cut out that part. So the next thing I'm going to do is to measure the 46 inches for the front too. So this front part, we are going to split it open. So before we do that, I'll first measure the 46. So this is the 46. So I'll go around again with the measurements. Now I'm cutting out the circle at 46 from top to. So now I've cut out the flare at 46. So the next thing I'll do is to come over to the neckline. Since I have my notch for the sleeve, I'll just go in here and cut out the 3.5, which we adjusted, and then we'll cut out the keyhole, just a little, don't do too much of it. Can you see? So that is it. Then at the end of the day, we are going to split here open, okay. I will split it open at the end of the day. So we are done with the front. So this is what the front dress is going to look like. Can you see? So the next thing we are going to do is to go over and join front and back. So we'll join front and back before we come over to making the facing. So if you look there, you can see we have a facing. So we need to get front and back before creating that facing. So I'll go over to my machine now and I'm going to sew down. So once I get to the point I have my sleeve, I'll stop my sewing. So that's why you need your notches. So I'll just go ahead, stop here, leave this part open from here. So like I said, if I notice that here is not too much, like it is right there on the thumbnail, I can go ahead and increase to the opening. So but let me just stitch and see. So I'll do that now, then come back for the facing after I've joined the back and the front. So here is my shoulder seam line. So I'm just trying to arrange it so you can see the shoulder seam line. This is the front and this is the back. So note that we are going to open up here at the end of the day. So I just left it this way to create that little keyhole effect. So now the next thing we are going to do, I've already given it a good press. You can see I put my hemming gum inside to just hem this part. You can also run your stitches around if you want, but I love to work on it this way. So once I got to this point, sleeve opening, I left it open, okay, from the shoulder line. So I did the same. I also used my hemming gum to open it up. So I open it up and iron it out. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm trying to explain. So you can see the part I put my hemming gun is laying flat and nice where we have the notch for the sleeve area. So we want to create the facing. So to create the facing, we'll be matching the center front together and match the center back together. Okay, I'll secure them with my pin on the shoulder seam line. So let me just arrange it and show you what to do. So this is how you pin the shoulder seam lines. You have the center back and this is the center front where we have the keyhole. So I'll come in with my doll face satin fabric. So if you are doing this, you will use just half a yard. Okay, half a yard is just okay. So all you need to do is to bring your half a yard of Ankara of a doll face, place it on fold this way. So I'll just take off this one. So once you place it, that's half a yard of doll face. Okay, a quarter, not half a yard. Okay, a quarter yard of doll face. So you place it on fold, on 2 equal parts on fold, and then you just come over with the Ankara which you have pinned this way. So a quarter of a yard is even actually too much for this, but I know you will not be able to get a quarter, less than a quarter. So if you have less than a quarter, you can even divide it by 2 to achieve this effect. So once you place it on fold, you can see what I'm doing right here. So I'm trying to adjust it so I don't have too much excess at the end of the day. So the way it is here, so now I've secured it with my pin. So make sure it lays flat and nice. Okay, so at the end of the day, you don't struggle sewing it. So I'll just mark it out. So I'll just mark it out, as you can see. So once I'm done marking it out, now I'll come over to the keyhole area and mark it out still on the Ankara. So you have to, on the doll face, so you have to just make sure you have it the way it's supposed to lay. All right, so that is that. So once I've marked it out, I'll take off the Ankara part. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to start taking the measurement of this facing. So from here, I'm making this facing at 4 inches. Okay, so since I need it exactly at 4 inches, I'm going to mark it at 5 inches for sewing allowance. So I'm going to sew the up, tucking the up, tucking the down. At the end we have 4 inches. So I'll keep going this way at 5 inches. So you can see how I'm placing my tape to connect it at each point. So just take your time, connect it at each point. So it's better you have this done accurately well at the end of the day. So the facing is by choice. If you want to make it more than 5, maybe a little bit bolder, you can go by 6 inches. So I'll just go ahead and mark out. So you can see the center back is still on fold. So we'll just lay it on top of the Ankara right now. So the next I'll do is to cut out the facing. Then I'll now come in and cut out the keyhole. Then I'll cut the So this is what we'll be having at the end of the day. So I just placed my notch here and place my notch here before I open. So once you open it up, it lays like this. You can see that. So I'll now come over to the dress. We'll turn to the back of the dress. So I'm taking off all pins right now. So we'll be turning the back of the neckline. So you just open up the back neckline. We are going to sew this. You can see how I placed it. So this is the wrong side of the fabric and this is the right side of the satin. So like I said, you can increase, you can make it 6 inches. That is if you want the circle to be wider. But for tutorial purpose, I'll be making use of 5 inches for it. So now I've secured with my pin. I'm going to sew this neckline. The right side should be on the wrong side first. So I'll go over to my machine. I will sew 1/2 inch all around. Okay, so I will do that. Place notches and top stitch. Let me do. Alright, so after sewing now, I will just go ahead and top stitch. So I'll flip all these seams right now and I'm going to run it on the Ankara till I go round. I have to turn everything to the front, that is to the right side. Okay, after sewing and top stitching, you turn everything to the right side. So when you turn everything to the right side, make sure the circle relaxes appropriately. If not, it's going to, you know, give you some worry while sewing. Okay, so although I'll still give it a good press with my hemming gum, I'll lift it up, insert my hemming gum all around, give it a good press so it relaxes nice and flat for me. Okay, it covers up this area. So but before I do that, I'm going to sew my button loop. So here I have my little bias strip, and this bias strip measures 2 inches, just roughly 2 inches. So I'll just fold my bias this way and create a loop for my button. So that depends on the kind of button you want to use, but I prefer to use a smaller button. So this is my loop. So if you want it to be on this part, then we are going to lift this up and position it this way. Okay, so this is how we are going to position it. So I'll go over to the machine now. I'll turn it this way and sew. So by the time we finish sewing it, we'll have this coming this way. I believe you understand. So what I will do now is to secure this with my pin right now, because this is where, on the right hand side, that is where I want to sew my button loop. So you face it facing inward. If you face it outside, at the end of the day, you might not have any loop. You might not see any loop. So I'll just go ahead and secure this part. I'll just secure it. You can see how I'm facing it. I'm taking my time to show you. So I'll just hold it down with my pin. Then I'll go over and face this way. Okay, I'll sew like this. I'll like take it in again this way, secure with my pin again. So I'm going to sew from here and form that keyhole. So let me do that. You can see how I stitch the keyhole area. So you can see where we have the loop. So the loop has to come out this way to hold on to our button. Okay, so I'll just quickly turn it the way. I'll just turn it to the front this way. Okay, so once I turn it to the front, it goes back to the front. Can you see? Everything goes back to the front. So I will also top stitch as I can top stitch right now. So I'll just lift up this part and top stitch, but don't forget to make a notch here. Don't forget to make a notch at that this point. So I'll just make little notch to make it, you know, a little bit freer and easy to turn. So I'm going to first flip all these seams right now. I'm going to sew top stitch this way, go around, then give it a good press. So now I've already ironed out this part. So make sure this black part is flat, okay? So this is the neckline. You can notice I had a little error. So that is why I told you when you are trying to turn it, make sure it's relaxing. If it doesn't relax completely, this is the kind of thing you are going to have. But for tutorial purpose, I'll just leave it like, but make sure you lay this black part effectively. So now you can see I've already started folding in the edges. Okay, so I just want to show you how I will fold it in completely before I go over to my machine to run my stitches. So I'm using my hemming gum. This is what the hemming gum looks like. So this is what I was doing. I just want to show you. You just pick your hemming gum up, lift this up this way. Then when you have, make sure you have it there, just fold it in, fold the hemming gum. You can see what I did. It might not actually be that smooth, okay, at the beginning, but just keep doing it the way you see me do now, making sure it lays flat. So you need to do this if you really need the rounded edge to be that round and smooth. So that's what I will be doing. Gently I'll be picking the edges, and I'll use my hemming gum to relax them, okay? So before I go and top stitch, so I'll keep pushing in with the hemming gum in there little by little, because this is a circle edge. So this part of the circle edge might not actually be easy to sew if you have to take it and sew without doing what I'm doing, unless you want to go ahead and run your bias on top of it, your trimmings to cover it to make it easy for you, or you want to use your zigzag machine and go and do that. But if you want to top stitch, so you need your hemming gum, okay, to do that. So I'll do that all around. So once I'm done, I'll go over to the machine and I'm going to quickly take my time to top stitch on top of it all around. See what we have right there. So I'll now go over to the machine to top stitch around. So as I'm top stitching, I'll just be arranging the parts that my hemming gum did not get, okay? So I'll just try and do a neat work all around. So I'll do that now. Then we'll open up the center front. I'll just cut it open and hem it. I just want to demonstrate to you what I was trying to explain. So I'll just drop my presser foot very close and I'll start top stitching, okay? So you can see that because it has been we have finished it nicely with the hemming gum, it's now easy for us to have our top stitches. You can see that this is what the top stitches look like. So I'll keep top stitching, as you can see. So if I have any place that my hemming gum did not get appropriately, I'll just, you know, use my fingers to tuck it in. I'll use my fingers to tuck it in. Make sure you top stitch very close, okay? That's the only way you have a neat finishing. So I'll keep top stitching. I'll keep sewing like that till I go back to where I started, okay? So I'll just try my best to tuck those parts in, okay? So I'll just try my best and sew very close, okay? So I'll just keep sewing and arranging all these areas till I want to show you what the full circle dress looks like, okay? So this is just the dress I finished top stitching right now. You can see it's really a full circle, and it has a hole at the center, okay? The center area, you can see it right there. All right, so that is how to go about this beautiful circle dress. You can see the keyhole as well. So after top stitching, it has to be flat this way, okay? So that is why I keep emphasizing making it flat, so it will not be difficult for you to sew, because sewing this rounded or top stitching this rounded edge is actually technical. So you have to make sure you cut accurately and it lays flat, okay? So please avoid what I have right here. It's because of I didn't actually trace well, okay? So but I left it for tutorial purpose. But if you are doing this, please don't do this. Make sure you trace out the neckline accordingly, and it has to match with what you have on the doll face or any fabric you wish to. You can use any fabric for this, okay? It must not be a doll face satin fabric, so you can just be creative with it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to open up the center front. So to open up the center front, I'll just go back to the side seam. So I'm just trying to put the side seam together so I'll be able to actually note the part that is the center front. So it has to be equal. So here I got it. So I'll just go ahead and cut open that center front. So I'll start from the hem and I'm going to cut open. You can also wear it without cutting anyway. That's why I have to go through this process. So if you want to wear it as a full gown, you can leave it the way it is. But for the purpose of this tutorial and the thumbnail, what we have on the thumbnail, you can see I've cut open. So I have two separate pieces right now. So I'll just go ahead now and fold in. I'll just fold in just once. You can serge and fold, but I'll just fold. But I want you to weave before you fold, so you have a neat finishing at the end of the day. So let me do that, then attach my button, and we are done with this dress. All right, lovely people, so we are done, and you can see what we have. So this is where I have my button loop. Can you see that? So I've stitched or top stitched this part. So that is how we'll come to the end of this tutorial, and I believe this class was helpful to you. So if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you once again. See you in the next class. Bye.